Out there, you're welcome to Before You Say I Do. I am Olumide Emmanuel. This audio program is all about helping you lay the proper foundation before you say I do. All over the world, every week, thousands and probably millions of people are coming before different altars in different halls and different venues to join themselves together with a man or a woman they claim to love, and they all say I do. But only few really have a clue what they really want to do. You need to understand that the very minute you say I do, a lot of things changes. So, are you really ready to say I do? You've got to be sure that the right foundation is in place and you have done all you need to do before you say I do. What do you do if you fall in love with someone only to discover that the person you are in love with was already married before he met you and was only fooling around with you? What do you do if you fall in love with someone only to discover that the person you are in love with is HIV positive? What do you do if you fall in love with someone only to discover that the person you are in love with is your brother, a secret child that your dad had outside the home? What do you do if you fall in love with someone only to discover that the person you are in love with is a practicing prostitute without plans to change her career, in quotes? Because as far as she's concerned, she's just having a career. What do you do if you fall in love with someone only to discover that the person is deep into the occult and has no plan to withdraw from occultism? What do you do if after marriage you discover that your spouse is impotent? What do you do if after marriage you discover that your spouse already had a child outside the home and yet she never informed you? What do you do if after marriage you discover that your spouse lied about his age and his financial status? What do you do if after marriage you discover that your spouse has so many artificial attachments that she never told you about, which includes her hair, her teeth, and even her breast? What do you do if after you marry you discover that you are actually a second wife and you have been deceived? A lot of people have said I do and they didn't have a clue what they were getting themselves into. So saying I do is not something you should take lightly, because the very minute you say I do, many things suddenly changes. As a man, once you say I do, a lot of things changes. As a woman, once you say I do, a lot of things changes. So the question you need to ask yourself is, are you ready for that change? Are you ready for that change? Many people will just come, I do. They get to the altar and then they are asked, do you take this man to be your lawfully wedded husband, to love and to cherish? And then, yes, I do. People sing, I do, 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 I will always do. And then they are wondering, am I really ready to do? I do is more than just a phrase. I do changes the whole dynamics of your life. As a woman, the very minute you say I do, your name changes to reflect a new name. Your home address changes. Over 90% of the time, you have to start living somewhere else because now you are living with a man. Your position changes to that of a submissive helpmate. Even if you are the owner of the money, you have to get somebody's permission to spend the money that belongs to you. Your status changes. You move from Miss to Mrs., from unmarried to married. Many things change once you say I do. As a man, once you say I do, your status also changes. You become a married man. Your position changes to that of a loving leader that is expected to be a king, a priest, and a prophet. Your responsibility also changes and increases to include others. You are now supposed to guide, to guard, and to govern and give. And then once you say I do, you are going to begin to labor for other people to eat. Once you say I do as a man, your freedom is also redefined, because the habit of eating outside is expected to give way for your wife's food. And once you say I do, you can't say, oh, I'm okay, I ate before I came home. No. You can't just eat anywhere, anyhow again. Once you say I do, whatever they cook for you is what you eat, whether it's burnt sacrifices or salted sacrifice or burnt offering. You have to eat it with smiles. Your spending is expected to reflect responsibility. Once you say I do as a man, you can't keep spending money anyhow. You now have to spend money on taking care of your family. Your sleeping outside gives way to being home all the time. You can't say, oh honey, I can't make it home tonight. Oh, I'm going to sleep with Larry. I'm going to stay with my friend till tomorrow. I'll see you later. It can't happen anymore once you say I do. So once you say I do, a lot of things does what? Changes. That is why before you say I do, you must make sure that everything is in place. So in this audio program, I want to share with you 7 things that you must put in place before you say I do. Number 1, before you say I do, you must understand marriage. Yes, you must understand marriage, because once you say I do, marriage begins. So why will you say I do and enter marriage without understanding what marriage is all about? Because the challenge we have in the world today is a lot of people prepare for wedding, but only few people prepare for marriage. A lot of people prepare for wedding, but only few people prepare for marriage. Wedding is for a day, but marriage is for a lifetime. So many people spend their time preparing for wedding. They don't even know what marriage is all about. And then they get married only to discover that they are novices in the world of marriage. So you need to understand that marriage is very, very vital. Once you enter, you have entered. So before you enter, make sure you are really ready. Because it is better to be single, hoping to be married, than to be married, praying to be single again. It is better to be single, hoping to be married, than to be married and praying to be single again. Let me give you a few things about marriage. Marriage is the only institution where there is no graduation. Once you enter, you can't graduate. You are forever learning. Forever learning. You are in school forever. Marriage is the only institution where you collect your certificate on the day of resumption. The day you get married and you say I do like this, they give you wedding certificate. You have not written any exam. You have not gone to any class. You have not done any test. Yet they are giving you certificate. Common sense should tell you that certificate they are giving it to you by faith. To say, okay, we have given you a certificate. You have to go and prove that you qualify. Go into the marriage now and prove that you qualify to have that certificate. Marriage is the only institution where they give you certificate on the day of resumption. Because every other school, you go through lectures, you do tests, then you do exam before they now give you a certificate to certify that you know it. But not in marriage. Marriage is the only school where hundreds and thousands of people are applying. They are rushing to enter, while those that are inside are hoping to get out. They are looking for an escape route. Marriage is also the institution where people expect you to succeed in what you have not been trained for. There is no school of marriage. To be a doctor, there is school. To be a lawyer, there is school. To be a mechanic, there is school. To be an engineer, there is school. There are schools for almost everything, but there is no school of marriage. So marriage is an institution where people expect you to succeed in what you have not been trained for. You get married and the next week, no, you are not a married man. No. A married woman does not behave like that. How does a married woman behave? Who taught me how a married woman should behave? Who taught me how a married man should behave? So people expect you to succeed in what you have not been trained for. Marriage is also the institution where you give birth to students, and students will graduate, you will send them forth, and you will still be in the school. So marriage is very, very important. You need to understand it before you get into it. Now let me help you understand this. What is marriage? Marriage is a covenant commitment to love an imperfect person unconditionally for the rest of your life. Marriage is a covenant commitment to love an imperfect person unconditionally for the rest of your life. So, in order for you to get married, you must understand that. If you don't agree with that definition, please don't bother to marry. Because there are no perfect people out there. There is no perfect man. There is no perfect woman, because you yourself, you are not perfect. So, number 1, marriage is a covenant. It's not just an agreement. It's not a contract. It's a covenant. Once you enter, you have entered. Number 2, marriage is a commitment. It's a lifetime commitment. Number 3, marriage involves 2 imperfect people. Marriage involves 2 imperfect people. Number 4, marriage requires unconditional love. So if you cannot love people unconditionally, love them with their faults and help them to overcome, don't bother. Number 5, marriage is for a lifetime. It's for a lifetime. So while you are on earth, once you marry, you have married. You get in there, there's no way out. So it's better for you to look before you leap. It's better for you to shine your eyes, shine your brain, shine your heart, and be sure of what you are getting into. So the first thing you must do before you say I do is you must understand marriage. The second thing is you must understand singleness. You must understand singleness. Now, I have discovered that a lot of people don't understand what singleness is all about. A lot of people don't understand what singleness is all about. Listen and listen well. Singleness has nothing to do with relationship. And the first thing I want you to know is this: marriage is not your destiny. You are not created to come and marry. Marriage was created for you. You are not created for marriage. That's not the reason why you are created. You were not, the Creator did not create you and say you are going into the world and marry. That's not your calling. That's not your destiny. That's not your assignment. So you need to understand that marriage is not your destiny. Because when you think marriage is your destiny, then you will abandon every other vital aspect of your life just because you want to marry, and you become so desperate that you can do anything to get married, only to get there and discover that that's not what marriage is all about. So you need to understand it is very, very important for you to understand singleness. Understand singleness. Understand singleness. What does it mean to be single? To be single and unmarried are two different things. You can be married and still not be single. You can be unmarried and still not be single. To be single is all about wholeness. Let's do this. Because a lot of people say, oh, yeah, I'm a single person. Many people that are not married today, they are not married, but they are still not single. Because singleness is wholeness. To be single means to be separate, to be unique, and to be whole. That's what singleness is. Singleness means separate, unique, and whole. So if you are not unique, if you are not whole, then you are not single. Now, to be unmarried means not to have a spouse. But you may not have a spouse and still you are not whole. So what we have today is a lot of disjointed, fractionized, messed up individuals that are not even whole, that are not together, and they are looking for spouses, looking for husband, looking for wife, and then they will now carry their dysfunction to go and ruin somebody else's life. So singleness has nothing to do with marriage. Singleness is a state of wholeness that every individual must attain to in order to be fulfilled. So whether you are married or not, you are supposed to be single. You are supposed to be whole. It's a state of wholeness. Let's do word and opposite, or synonyms and antonyms. Up, down, in, out, yes, no, black, white, married, unmarried. You see now? So when you say married, you are unmarried. Single is double. So singleness has nothing to do with marriage. So marriage is not your destiny, and singleness has nothing to do with marriage. Singleness is a state of wholeness. So everybody must be whole. When you see people get married without being whole, when they now get married, they will mess up their partner, because they will now be expecting their partner to do for them what the partner is not wired to do. They will now have unrealistic expectation. So singleness is wholeness. A lot of people are married, but they have never been single. They now get married, and then they can't stay on their own. They depend on their partner for everything. They have unrealistic expectation. They expect their partner to give to them and bring for them and do in them what the partner is not wired for. And then they get frustrated, and then they blame their partner, and then they all frustrate themselves. And everybody deserves to be happy. Marriage is meant to be enjoyed and not to be endured. So it is very important, absolutely important, for you to be really, really single. So singleness is wholeness. It's for you to be complete, to be whole. When you are really single, let me help you understand. When you are really single, you will not need marriage. Yes, you won't be needing marriage. You will get married because you have to get married to move into the next phase or dimension, not because you need marriage. When people are really single and whole, they won't be, I need to marry. That's a sign that something is still wrong somewhere. It's very key for you to understand that. And then never mourn your singleness. Never mourn your singleness. Don't ever feel inferior because you are not married. Don't ever feel inferior because you are not, in a man's house or a woman's house. Don't ever feel inferior because you are single. Singleness is not a sin. It's not a curse. It's not a sickness. It's not a crime. It's not a limitation. You can be single and solid, single and satisfied, single and anointed, single and international, single and wealthy, single and, fruitful, single, and you can make so much difference, even more than married people. And sometimes when you are not married and you are fully single, even married people are envious of you. And that's why you see a lot of people, they envy your freedom and your liberty. It is better to enjoy where you are on the way to where you are going to than to just go and ruin your life because you are desperate. Because it is better to be single, open to be married, than to be married, praying to be single again. And that's the frustration that a lot of people have found themselves in. So you must make sure that you are what? You are really, really single. You understand what singleness is all about. Because if you don't understand what singleness is all about, it will cause a lot of trouble for you. So you must understand what singleness is also. Singleness is not a temporary status. It's a quality of life. So even after you are married, you are still supposed to be single. After marriage, yes, you are supposed to be whole. And one of the things you need to realize is when you are single, you will not, have these terrible, funny expectations of marriage. Because sometimes marriage is really overrated. Many people they put marriage on a pedestal that marriage was not supposed to be in. They now have this unrealistic expectation, expecting marriage to do for them what marriage was not meant to do. Listen well. There are different myths and philosophies that people have about marriage that you need to work on. And let me give you maybe 7 or 10 of them, just for you to know. Number 1, marriage is the key to happiness. That's a lie. Marriage is not the key to happiness. If you are not happy before marriage, marriage will not bring happiness. Even if you are happy before marriage and you marry the wrong person, marriage can be the beginning of your doom. Yes, because it has been proven that marrying the wrong person has the ability to reduce the quality of your life by as much as 62%. So be careful. So marriage does not bring happiness. When you go into marriage thinking, marriage will make me happy, it doesn't work like that. Marriage is like a vacuum. The quality of the marriage is determined by the quality of the people in the marriage. So if you have 2 happy people, you have a happy home. If you have 2 sad people, you have a sad home. So it's not because there's anything wrong in marriage, it's because something is wrong with you that is inside it. Number 2, marriage is the key to completeness. That's not true. You can't be complete in marriage if you are not complete before marriage. That's why people are not single. You say, I met your better half. That's an error. Are you half? What do you mean by better half? Anything you multiply by half will not be whole. Half is not a whole number. So you are not supposed to be half. Marriage is 1 plus 1. Not half plus 1. Not half plus half. Half plus 1 is 1.5. Half plus half is half raised to power 2. So in order for you to be really, really happy married, you must understand all these things. Marriage is not a key to completeness. Number 3, the third error is marriage is the key to fulfillment. That's not true. If you are not fulfilled before marriage, marriage will not bring any fulfillment to you. So you must know that if you allow marriage to be your instrument of fulfillment, you will be sorrowful for the rest of your life. Number 4, the fourth error, marriage is the cure for loneliness. Go and ask many married people that are lonely. Ask the countless number of married people that are still very lonely. Married but lonely. Married but alone. They have bedmates but they don't have soulmates. They have roommates but they don't have soulmates. So marriage is not a cure for loneliness. So you don't come into marriage thinking that, it will help your loneliness. No. Another error is marriage is necessary for spiritual maturity. No. You don't need marriage to be spiritually mature. You can be spiritually mature if you are ready to pay the price for your maturity. Number 6, marriage is necessary for you to go to heaven. That's not true. Marriage can even stop you from going to heaven if you marry the wrong person. So if you think, when I marry her, they will be able to help me to get to heaven. That's not the way. The only way to heaven is through Jesus, not through marriage. Marriage, number 7, the 7th error is marriage is necessary for you to be a parent. No. You have to be married before you can be a father or mother, but you don't have to be married to be a parent. There are a lot of people that are parenting children, they have children that they can't parent. Anybody can impregnate anybody. Even mad women get pregnant. So the issue you need to ask yourself is this: do I have what it takes to be a parent? Because you may not be married, but you can adopt children even as a single person, just to be a blessing, just to help and mentor and be a model to their life. So if you think, I want to marry so that we can have a child, so many people enter marriage just for children, and then once they have the children, they begin to misbehave. Number 8, marriage is necessary for you to hold a leadership position. No, you don't have to be married to hold a leadership position. If you have the brain and you have the skill, you can start your own business and be a CEO and still be single. Marriage creates love. Number 9, that's a lie. Marriage does not create love. Marriage is a place to share love that already exists. So if you don't have love to share, the other party does not have love to share, and you come with hatred plus hatred, love will not come because you got married. So marriage does not create love. Marriage is a place to share love. The final one, number 10, marriage is forever. That's not true. Marriage is not forever. Marriage is for a lifetime. Marriage begins and ends here. When you get to heaven, there's nothing like marriage. So if you marry here, you end your marriage the day you die. That's why it's till death do us part. So once you die, it's over. So all these things are very, very, so you must understand singleness. Number 3, the third thing you must understand before you marry is you must understand yourself. You must understand yourself, because if you don't understand yourself, how can somebody understand you? If you don't understand yourself, how can you go into a relationship with somebody else and then expect to succeed when you don't even understand yourself? You will just mess up somebody's life. So before you say I do, you must understand marriage. Before you say I do, you must understand singleness. Before you say I do, you must understand yourself. You must understand yourself. And what do I mean by that? You must understand your strengths, your weaknesses, your likes, your dislikes, your personality, your temperament. All these things, you need to understand them. The third thing is you must understand yourself. There are different dimensions to yourself. There is the known self, there is the unknown self, there is the hidden self, and there is the blind self. Known self, unknown self, hidden self, and blind self. The known self is the part of you that you know and everybody knows. You know it, everybody knows it. The unknown self is the part of you that you don't know, but other people know. Or that you know, but other people don't know. The hidden self is that part of you that is hidden to you, hidden to people. It takes time for you to be able to realize that, wow, this is something I'm beginning to notice this about myself. And it may even be people that will help you to notice it. Hidden self. And then the blind self is the one that is hidden to you but open to people. So, known self is known to you and known to people. Unknown self is known to you, unknown to people, or known to people and unknown to you. Hidden self is unknown to you, unknown to people, and it takes time for you to know it or for people to discover it. And then blind self is unknown to you and known to people. So you must realize who you are and let other people know who you are so that there can be love. That's what courtship is all about. It's a period of educating the other party about who you are and helping the other letting the other party educate you about things about you that you probably don't know. And you do that for them also. That's what courtship is all about. So that you will now know what you are entering into. So before you say I do, you must understand marriage. Number 2, you must understand singleness. Number 3, you must understand yourself. Number 4, before you say I do, you must understand the uniqueness of each gender. You must understand the uniqueness of each gender. Years ago, a man by the name of John Gray wrote a book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. And in the book, he was able to help the world to realize that men and women speak 2 different languages. That men and women are different. Because most of the time, a lot of people are confused. You know, all these men, you can never really understand all these men. And all these women, you can't really understand all these women. All men are the same. All women are the same. You see a lot of people confused. But you need not to be confused. Any difference between a man and a woman? A man is a logical being, while a woman is an emotional being. Let me see if I can give you like 5. Men are logical, women are emotional. So a man will always think before he feels, while a woman will feel before she thinks. So it's easier for a woman to go to the market and buy what she does not need. Yeah, she just buys out of impulse. I shouldn't have bought this thing. I already have one of it. You know, that's the way it works. Because she's always emotional. She attaches emotion to things. It's easier for that to happen. But a man goes to the market and while he's asking, okay, how much is that? Okay, and he's thinking, do I have anything at home that can fit into this thing? Okay, do you have it in blue color? Do you have the gray color? He's thinking. And if you say how much and he looks at this, okay, I'll come back later. But a woman, purple, lilac, please give me. And sometimes a woman can even go to the market and buy a shoe that does not size her. I'm telling you, in the market, it will enter her leg because in the excitement, she will put her leg inside, the thing will enter. Even if it's, tight in her, she will still be enjoying it. Only to get home and say, it's not my size. Oh. I'm telling you. So, men are mental, they are logical. If anything happens, for instance, maybe something terrible happens, who is the first person to cry? The woman. And the man will, instead of crying, he will be asking questions. If, for instance, now you are with your lady or with your spouse or whatever, and then somebody calls to say somebody had had an accident somewhere, The woman say, Mr. Jane, oh my God, The man will say, hey, he had an accident? Where? When? How? Who was driving? Was it the one, and the one will say, this is somebody had an accident, you are asking questions, you are so heartless. It's not heartless. You are crying. Will your tears solve the problem? It's a logical, it's just asking questions to be able to know what to do. That's why a lot of women feel that men are heartless. So, you need to know that. You need to also know that men are moved by sight, women are moved by words. Men are moved by what they see, women are moved by what they hear. These are differences between a man and a woman. These are things you need to know before you say I do. Because if you know about women generally, you have that covered. Then it will now be about knowing the unique things about your own woman. But at least you will know that generally these are things about characteristics of women. You will understand the general. It will now be the specific you will be dealing with. But if you don't understand the general, you will mix general and specific together. Because in trying to understand your woman or trying to understand your man, you'll be confused because you will realize that some of those things are general and it's not about your woman, it's about every woman. It's not about your man, it's about every man. But once you have that covered, it will help you to come with a better maturity in being able to relate with people. It's very, very important. Another difference is that men are headliners while women are broadcasters. Men are very, very, headliners. Women are very detailed. So, for instance, if a man goes out and comes back and you ask him how was your day, his answer is fine. That's all. He expects you to read between the lines. So if you want more information, then you ask more questions. So when did you get to the office? Oh, was this, what happened today? What did you eat? He will begin to answer you. But if you ask a woman how was your day? If you don't have time, don't ask that question. No. How was your day? Today, in fact, immediately I got to the bus stop. Do you know it almost started raining? You know that other. So if you are not ready, don't ask. Well, number 5. Before you say I do, you must be prepared. Before you say I do, you must be fully prepared. Why? It is very, very important for you to prepare before you say I do. Because a lot of people prepare for wedding, but only few people prepare for marriage. And wedding is for a day, but marriage is for a lifetime. So you must prepare. If you prepare well, you will do well. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. If you don't prepare well, you will fail. So it is very important for you to prepare because that's the wisest thing for you to do. Nobody, succeeds in battle by manufacturing their weapons on the battlefield. So you must make sure you prepare adequately. And now there are 7 major areas of preparation you must make sure you put in place before you say I do. There are 7 major areas of preparation that you must put in place before you say I do. And these 7 major areas of preparation, I'm going to try to talk about it a little one after the other. Now, before you say I do, number 1, you must be spiritually prepared. You must prepare yourself spiritually because whether you like it or not, we live in a physical world that is governed by the spiritual world. The spiritual world is more superior to the physical world. The spiritual world is a realm where events occur before they happen. So if you are not spiritually prepared, you will not be able to succeed in any area of life. I tell people you can't succeed in any area of life without spiritual power. Either you use divine spiritual power or satanic spiritual power, you need spiritual power. So you must be spiritually prepared. Number 2, you must be emotionally prepared. Marriage is a responsibility. And if you are not emotionally prepared for the responsibility that comes with marriage, don't bother. Number 3, you must be mentally prepared. You must make sure that your mind is alert, your mind is developed to be able to carry the responsibility that comes along with marriage. Or else, you go mental. I've seen a lot of people get married and then they have children and then they go mental because the children run them mad. There are cases of women that have had, got pregnant and then they lock their child inside the fridge and lock the fridge. There are lots of things that happen. So if you are not mentally prepared, the load and the weight of the responsibility can be very, 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 very funny because it's called the weight of glory. So you need to be mentally prepared. Number 4, you need to be socially prepared. You need to be socially prepared. You need to be relevant to your time. Because if you are not updated, you will be outdated. If you are not inspired, you will expire. If you are not informed, you will be deformed. So you need to be socially relevant. And you must be socially prepared. Number 5, you must be physically prepared. You must be physically prepared in order for you to be able to succeed in marriage and relationship. Number 6, you must be financially prepared, because there is no romance without finance. Yes, there is no romance without finance. When a woman tells you, I love you the way you are, I love you the way you are does not mean I love you to remain the way you are. She's hoping that somewhere along the line, your story will change. And if your story refuses to change, our own story about you will change. So you need money in relationship, because you need money to fund the fund. So you must be financially prepared. And then number 7, you must be morally prepared. Because once you marry, you are married. You can't be married and still be sleeping around. You can't be married and still be messing around. So you must be morally matured to be able to choose a partner and stay faithful to that one partner for the rest of your life. So it is very, very key for you to note all these things. So before you say I do, you must understand marriage. Number 2, you must understand singleness. Number 3, you must understand yourself. Number 4, you must understand the uniqueness of each gender. Number 5, you must understand preparation and be prepared. Number 6, you must succeed in carrying out the common sense test. Yes, before you say I do, you must carry out the common sense test. What are the common sense tests that you need to carry out before you say I do? Number 1, background check. You know, in those days, before people marry, they will go and check the family they are going to marry into. Is there madness in the family? Is there insanity in the family? Is there barrenness in the family? Are people fruitful in the family? Do people stay in the house of one husband? Now, the reason why they do this is because they are doing background check. They want to check what are the family traits, what are the tendencies, so that they'll be able to know how to deal with it. But today, boy meets girl, girl meets boy, boy love girl, girl love boy, boy toast girl, girl say yes, boy marry girl, girl enter house. And that's the way we do. Just meet somebody, you marry them, you don't know where they are from, you don't know their parents, you just meet with them one day before marriage and say you have met them. You are not investigating anything, you have to do your research, because there are many people moving on the street of the city where you live that have all kinds of baggages, and everybody has a past. Anybody you see, there are loads of stuff in their yesterday that you need to look into before you go and join them, because their yesterday can ruin your tomorrow. Yes, their yesterday can ruin your tomorrow. So you have to make sure you do what? A background check. Ask questions. Investigate before you invest. Don't invest your life into something that is going to be for a lifetime, only to get there and discover that you are in error. It is very, very important. So those are common sense tests. Number 2, you must do genotype tests. You have to check your blood to be sure you guys are compatible, because you don't want to get into a marriage where you bring children into the world to come and suffer. If you marry and you bring children into the world and they are sickle sellers, it will even ruin the joy you think you have. Go and ask any family that has ever raised sickle cells, children with sickle cell. You'll be amazed at the kind of pressure they are going through. You'll be amazed. So why will you marry somebody that you claim to love and then you bring pain and sorrow into their life by the children you are going to bring forth? So make sure you do your genotype test to be sure that you guys are compatible. Third common sense test, make sure you do HIV tests. Check your status. Check your status. Because you may have kept yourself, but have they kept themselves? Even people that have kept themselves, they have become infected through needles, through clippers, and a lot of other things. So you need to do HIV tests and be sure of what you are entering into. These are all things you need to do before you say I do. So before you say I do, you must pass the common sense test, the background test, genotype test, HIV test, and finally the 101 common sense questions. You see, what is this man talking about? Yes, so I know what I'm talking about. There are 101 questions you must get answer to before you say I do. Of course, we cannot use this audio program to deal with that. So you need to get the book. The book, Singles Get Ready. In the book, Singles Get Ready, I listed out 101 questions that you need to answer before you say I do. Because if you go and say I do and the questions are not answered, that will be a problem. And then I think I have it in Love is Not Enough also. Yeah, Love is Not Enough. So if you go to Love is Not Enough, you see 101 questions. That is it. I'm trying to open the book right now. I have a copy in front of me here. 101 101 common sense consideration. That is chapter 11. So there you see it. You see a lot of questions. Are you both compatible? Is your partner really good for you? Are they wise and intelligent? Can you love them for life? How long have they been saved? Do you know their strengths and their weaknesses? Do you know what they want? Can they complement your vision and purpose in life? Do they have a vision and purpose for their own life? Do you relate with them as friends? Do they accept your friend as their own friends? Are you both drug free? Are you both alcohol free? What initiated the relationship? Are you attracted to each other physically? Do you spend time communicating or just touching each other? Do you have intimacy or only romance? What kind of reputation do they have? How do they relate with their own friends? 101 questions you need to answer. I'm telling you. So by the time you answer these questions, you will have gone far. You will know what we are talking about. Because it's not just enough to just jump into marriage like that. Before you say I do, you must put all these things in place. So, before you say I do, you must understand marriage. Number 2, you must understand singleness. Number 3, you must understand yourself. Number 4, you must understand gender uniqueness. The uniqueness of each gender. Number 5, you must understand preparation and be prepared. Number 6, you must understand and pass the common sense test. And number 7, you must have divine conviction and peace. You must have divine conviction and peace. Before you go ahead and marry anybody, you must be convinced that this is the person for me. You must have conviction. You must be convinced beyond all reasonable and unreasonable that to say, yes, this is it. Because once you plunge in, you are in. It's like jumping into the river. You have to swim for life. And then you must have peace. So if you don't have peace, if anything is troubling your heart about a relationship, you see that the relationship is not giving you peace. Something is always nudging you, telling you, you can't place your hand on it, but you just don't feel good inside. Don't do it. Be careful. Because that is a pointer that you are probably about to make the greatest mistake of your life. So make sure you don't get into making these mistakes. So, before you say I do, make sure that all these 7 things are put in place. And once you put these 7 things in place, it will go a long way in helping you. Wow. Well, I think I've been able to help you on that. The next thing I want to do now is answer questions. I've got 2 questions here today. The first question is from a lady. It says, how do I know if a man really loves me? How do I know if a man really loves me? Well, I want you to know that men are different from women, like we have said, and it's very, very important for you as a woman to be able to know what to look out for when it comes to the issue of men. Because most of the time, because you are an emotional person, women are emotional, you always allow your emotion to overrule your sense of reasoning. But that is very dangerous, and it's not something you must do at all. Because every time you allow your emotion to overrule your sense of reasoning, you become a casualty of love. Every time you allow your emotion to rule you, you will be moved by a charming man that has the ability to harm you. Because the difference between charming and harming is letter C. The difference between danger and anger is letter D. So an angry man is a dangerous man. A charming man can be a harming man if you remove the letter C, which is Christ. So, listen and listen well. There are 3 major things that you should look out for that will really help you to know if a man really loves you. Number 1 is, if a man loves you, he will profess it. Yeah, he will profess his love for you. When somebody claims to love you and they say, let us make it secret lovers, you will realize that secret lover is a song, and secret lovers also die in secret. So if you are singing secret lovers, that's what we are, and you are singing secret lover to yourself, I'm sorry for you. Secret lovers also die secretly. So don't get into secret love. A man that loves you will profess it. He'll be proud of you. He'll be willing to share with people his love for you. He'll be willing to let people know that he has something with you. So once you're in a relationship with a man and he can introduce you to important people in his life, he's telling you, let's keep it secret. This world is terrible. Let's keep it secret. That's the same way when it breaks your heart, you will break your heart in secret, but you will cry openly. and you'll be frustrated. So number one is he will profess it. Number two, if a man really loves you, he will protect you. A man that loves you will not want to sleep with you. So when a man is telling you, let's have sex, show me you love me. No. Listen to the songwriter. If you love me, you go wait for me. 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 If you love me, you go wait for me. If a man loves you, he will wait for you. When you love something, you cherish it. When you love something, you protect it. So if he loves you and he wants to be sleeping with you, he doesn't love you, because guess what? Once you lose your virginity, you have lost it. Hope you know that a man can hide virginity. There's no way a man can tell you he's a virgin. How will you prove whether he's not a virgin? But for a woman, once you are this virgin, a man can still deceive people and say, oh, I don't know anything about love. I've never done it before. Whereas a woman, so once you lose it, you have lost it. And virginity once lost can never be regained. So don't sell yourself cheap. Because at the end of the day, when he sleeps with you and sleeps with you and sleeps with you, he will not abandon you. Because the question you need to ask yourself is, why buy the cow when you have the milk for free? Yes. So he will protect you. Don't give yourself cheap to any man. A few friends years ago, they were having dinner. One of their friends had just got him married. So they just came back from their honeymoon. So they were having dinner. And they were explaining that, oh wow, it's wonderful, And the man that just got married now asked his friend, I say, my friend, you need to do what I've done. Oh. So when are you guys getting married? Now you guys have been dating for a while. You've been dating even before I met my own wife, and now we are married. And the guy, he just came out and he said, well, why buy the cow if you can get the milk for free? He just said it unconsciously. But what it means was, what am I going to marry her for? She's already living in my house. We are cohabiting. I have sex, free sex. She cooks my food, washes my clothes. What am I? So when you are already wasting your time and cohabiting with a man you are not married, you are living there. You are a weekender. Go and spend weekend in a man's house. You are just useless in your life. Why will he marry you? So he will profess. He will protect. Number three, he will provide. If a man really loves you, he will provide for you. He will do everything to make sure that he provides for your well-being. Well, the second question is also like the first one. It says, how can one prove and be assured of his or her partner's commitment? Well, I think for this, I think I've answered that question in one of my books. I have a book called 101 Wisdom for Singles and 101 Answers for Singles. In the book 101 Answers for Singles, I answer a lot of questions, 101 questions that people have asked. So let me answer that question from the book. There are 10 things that will help you prove someone's commitment. So if someone really loves you and is really committed to your relationship, these are 10 things you should look out for. Number one, they will love and care for you. If they are committed to you, they will love and care for you. Number two, they will trust and believe in you. They will trust and believe in you. If they are committed to you, they will really trust you. They will believe in you. Number three, they will be honest and sincere with you. They will be honest and sincere with you. Number four, they will respect, honor, and adore you. They will respect, honor, and adore you. Number five, they will seek to understand and know you more. If they are really committed to a relationship, they will do everything they can to try to understand you, to try to know you more. Number six, they'll be willing to make sacrifices to help you and make you what God wants you to be. If they really love you and they are really committed to you, they'll be willing to make sacrifices to help you and make you what God wants you to be. Number seven, they'll be sensitive to your welfare. They'll be sensitive to your welfare. If they really love you and they are committed to you, they'll be sensitive to your welfare. Number eight, if someone really loves you and is committed to you, they will never take advantage of you or seek to abuse you. They will never take advantage of you or seek to abuse you. So when a woman is abusing you or trying to take advantage of you, she doesn't really love you. She's not committed. When she's just after your money and things you can give to her, she doesn't love you. She's not committed to you. Number nine, they will produce peace in your hearts. They will produce peace in your heart. If people are really in love with you and they are committed to you, they will give you peace. You will have peace every time you think about them. You will have peace every time you think about the relationship. And finally, you can prove someone's commitment by praying for God to show you whether they are the one. So how do you know if someone is really committed to you? Pray. If you really pray, God will be able to tell you who they are. God will be able to tell you the secret things about them. They will be unveiled. God will unveil them to you.